on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel. There's the stupidity what the parents of anti-vax parents do to the amount of birthdays their children will like to have. I screwed up the intro so badly there. How you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. We are having some technical issues getting James in. He could connect, but he couldn't hear me. So we're going to try and get that sorted, and hopefully we will have a dumpster fire of some kind for you today. Now, I recently did a 40-hour stream to celebrate getting 40,000 subscribers, which was an incredible amount of fun, but I then had a migraine for 2 days afterwards, so I went a bit off grid. But during the 40-hour stream, one of my subscribers decided to write a song about me getting 40,000 subscribers. So whilst we're waiting for James to connect, we're going to play you that awesome song. This is Andrew Clark. Feel free to go and give his channel a subscribe and like this video. But this is FTFE, congratulations on 40k.
It's just a simple set of chords: C, F, G, and F again, and C. How do you do all the things that you do without going completely insane? Listening to flat earthers live on your stream. Are the tablets involved, or do you just get high? But I wanna say congratulations on reaching 40k. It's an achievement I'd be proud of every day. And hopefully there'll be another 40k or more. How do you keep your glasses from getting fucked up through irritation or through rage? Do you use some kind of hydrophobic spray, or just sit in high relative humidity? Our actions on reaching 40k. It's an achievement I'd be proud of every day. And hopefully there'll be another 40k or more. If I were you, I'd be climbing the walls and sticking a screwdriver through my ear. I'd rage quit like one of those gamer kids who stick their fists through their TV screens. But I wanna say congratulations on reaching 40k. It's an achievement I'd be proud of any day. And hopefully there'll be another 40k or more. Congratulations on reaching 40k. It's an achievement I'd be proud of any day. And hopefully there'll be another 40k or more. Fight the flat earth. Your streams are great. Your videos are funny, informative, acidic, and great fun to watch. You deserve your success. It won't be long before you've got 41k. Probably tomorrow. Just keep doing it, man. And I wanna say congratulations on reaching 40k. It's an achievement I'd be proud of every day. Hopefully there'll be another 40k or more. Simon Dan, Flat Earth, or Fight the Flat Earth, is coming for you. That NASA implant is giving him the power of subs. You better bring back Running Man, Dan. because you're going to have to run pretty fucking quick. Probably should have practiced that.
That is Andrew Clark. Please go and give him a sub and say that's an awesome tune. I was very, very humbled that somebody wrote a song about me. But yeah, we're still waiting for James George to rejoin. He could, as you can see, he was connected, but he couldn't hear me, even though I could hear and see him. So I asked him to see if there's any sound coming from his laptop in general. And he's like, yeah, it's definitely on, it's definitely on. I said, well, go and play a YouTube video or something. And he's like, oh, there's no sound coming from it. So, you know, Flerfs and tech, I guess. I've got a few super chats. Jessica G for $2. Well, actually, it was Flerfka G at the time. Says, the earth is flatter than Rad Vlad's lady's bum. I hope you guys saw the debate between Rad Vlad and Team Skeptic the other day. That was pretty fun. And Flerfka G for another $2 says, FTFE fears my flatness. Say that 5 times fast. Fears my flatness, fears my flatness, fears my flatness. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely do fear Flerfka G. I won't debate her. The Snark for €5 says, Flerfka G, your chest is flatter than the LIGO path. And then Flerfka G says for $2, Snark's crotch looks like a baby's bird in nest. A baby's bird in its nest. And then Jackalope Herdmaster for $5 says, FTFE, you should start a bitch-made counter. This will get you more ticks than your rage quit counter. I think I should probably start a Flerfcant tech counter. God, that was, what, now? 8 minutes ago, he said, I'm just going to turn off my computer and turn it back on. That's obviously challenging for him, because he hasn't done that. Unless he's got such a bad computer that it takes about 8 minutes to boot up. Oh, goodness me. Right. Yeah, Michael, I'm not going to even pronounce your second name, but he says a glitch made counter. Yeah, unfortunately I can't count that high. I would have to take off my shoes and socks. So we're going to have to wait. Right, I'm just going to wait. Okay, alright, let's do something else then. I'm going to message him. How's it coming? And there is going to be no Team Skeptic tonight. He called me just now to say that his internet went out where he lives, and they haven't reconnected it yet. So unfortunately he can't be here and, you know, being my sidekick tonight. Skydiver Tanner says, did you finish the LEGO ISS just? No, I haven't yet finished it. It's finding some time to sit down and do it with my son. Zenuk says, if we can find a video to react to, will you? Yeah, find a video and post it in the chat. And if James doesn't turn up, I will react live to it. Frank Knight says, double bitch made. Well, Team isn't really bitch made. He just doesn't have any internet to join right now. Karen Vids says Earth's crust. There's so many Karen Vids, but that's Team's bag, and I'm letting him have it. Ooh. Excuse me. Now he is no longer online on Facebook. Flat Earthers, man, they can't do anything right, can they? Someone's saying react to Ranty's latest video. Let's have a look at what Ranty's doing, because obviously, if you guys didn't see the beginning of my 40-hour stream when Ranty came on, Ranty has now actually confirmed that the water doesn't find its level anymore. That's what he says. Because it conforms to the underneath the. He doesn't understand fluid dynamics. Come on, James. All you have to do is turn your computer back on and click a link. But no. Some Belgian dude for €5 says, hey FTFE, I want to debate Flerfs live, but all Flerfs refuse. How do I approach this? Unfortunately, me and Team Skeptic and Conspiracy Cats, and Red Rhetoric, of course, we've killed Flerfs for debates. They don't come and debate anymore. It's really hard to actually get them to come and debate. The only place that you can go to, and I use this word lightly when I say debate, is to go to like Nathan Oakley's channel and just deal with being muted constantly. If you didn't see me when I went to go to Nathan Oakley's channel during my 40-hour stream, I clipped that and made it its own video on the channel, and that's a lot of fun. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness me. Come on. Where are you, George? James George. Man with 2 first names. What are you going to do when Flerfs don't turn up? We've literally killed the flat Earth. What's the word I'm looking for? The mojo to actually go and debate. They just don't do anything anymore. They don't debate. They don't bring anything new, and the only ones that try and come are usually too stupid to click a fucking link properly. Unfortunately, after 18 months of destroying flat earthers in debates, ruining every claim they've got, especially the gas pressure next to a vacuum can't exist, I've destroyed that claim, and they've got nothing. Historical philosopher says that's because Flerfs only want to hear the echo chamber. Yeah, the interesting thing, right, is if you go and watch me going onto Nathan Oakley's channel, on his channel, I'm muted like 60% of the time over there. But to actually hear the actual conversation, you can watch the bit that I clipped on my channel. Jackalope Herdmaster, thank you. Watch FTFE troll Nathan Oakley. Absolutely. The only thing they could do against you is fallacy and ask strawman questions. Yeah, exactly. They just didn't want to accept anything that I said and just shouted fallacy. Oh, you're begging the question. They don't even know what begging the question is. I mean, a hypothesis is a question. You ask a question in your hypothesis, like, well, if the Earth is rotating, then, this is what we should see kind of thing. But no. Oh, you said if the Earth's rotating, you're begging the question. And then they fucking said that, oh, well, you can't talk about geodesic surveying because they beg the question when measuring, because they measure a tangent to the Earth, and that's making the assumption that there's a curve. But he's so stupid, he doesn't realize that you can actually have a tangent to a flat plane. It would just be the same as the flat plane. And when you measure the tangents, what you find is that it drops away and triangles add up to more than 180. Drew Grifford for £5 says, hey FTFE, thank you for making our complex and beautiful globe easy to understand. Much love for the Midlands, UK. Thank you very much. I love doing this. And Raven Zero for $2 says, FTFE, are you going to get the new RTX 3000 series? Very likely. Probably after Christmas sometime, and then I will give my boy, who I've just bought a gaming PC, but it doesn't have a great graphics processor. Once I get the 3000 series, I'll give him the 2070 Super that I've got in my PC now. But I think I'm going to probably get the 3070 or whatever, because I think it's for $1,000. It's like 12 times faster than the GPU I've got now. Some Belgian dude for €2 says, affirming the consequent gets thrown around a lot. Yeah, you can't measure because you're assuming that there's something to measure, is what they say, basically. Excuse me. Well, I'm sorry, guys, that James hasn't managed to turn his computer back on. It's incredible that even when they connect, they still get it wrong. But the thing is, James was on a previous stream and he managed to connect okay. I mean, he was a dumbass for the rest of the time. So what's your favourite flat earther fallacy, guys? What one do you like hearing them say that they don't understand? Frank Knight says, what would the flat earth measure in geodesic surveying? They never asked themselves that. Well, geodesic surveying deals with angles, right? Angles of a triangle and stuff. So if the flat earth was if the flat earth was a real thing and geodesic surveyors were to measure, they would find that the angles of triangles would always add up to 180. But what they find is that whenever they measure angles, the angles triangles always add up to more than 180, which means the earth is curved. Yeah, ad hominem. They don't even know what an ad hominem is. If I say you're an idiot, that's not an ad hom. That's just calling you an idiot. They don't understand that fallacy. Modus tollens, yeah, they misuse that all the time. Oh, well, if we can see the horizon beyond the platforms, P, then Q, the Earth can't be curved. Well, what about all the fucking times that we don't see that? Idiots. Yeah, Keith Miller says, you used the word if, that's begging a question. Exactly, I said, well, if the Earth is rotating, there's things we should be able to measure. Oh, you beg the question. No, that's how you test in science, you fucking moron. My favourite is, Top Hat Teapot says, my favourite is when they say, look outside, you can see the evidence. Oh yeah, I can look outside and see the ships going over a curve, and I can look out my from where I live and see hills in Edinburgh that are below my eye level when they shouldn't be. Frank Knight says, how is it begging the question when you use measurements? They are dumb, but Oakley is a Poe anyway. Yeah, we all know that Oakley isn't a real flat earther. And I only went there to troll him, right? Literally only went there to troll him because there is no debate in Nathan Oakley. He won't debate you, he'd just mute you, overtalk you, say, I'm going to put my balls in your mouth, which is hard when you're as smooth as a Barbie. So there is no debating from Nathan Oakley. So I went there to troll him. It's as simple as that. If he wants to debate me, he can come and do it on a neutral channel. Hey, Schrodinger's cat, how you doing? Beeble for Life says he's stealing all my viewers. If you guys aren't subscribed to Beeble for Life, you should probably do that. Some Belgian dude for €2 says natural means not man-made. Fuck me, yeah. That's Quantum Razor's one. He says that you can't apply a, for instance, you can't apply Coriolis to a projectile. Oh, James has rejoined. James, can you hear me? Oh, I should probably unmute you. James, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes!
Can you
awesome.
hear me?
I can. It's working.
All right, sorry about that.
That's okay. Looks like we have a show, guys. It's just going to be me and you tonight, James. Team Skeptic isn't available because his internet's broken. Thank you for coming back to the channel.
That's all right. I'm not going to stay for long.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I'm already late, but we'll do it maybe another time, like a bit earlier. Can you not do it a bit earlier?
Yeah, I can always start a little bit earlier if you need that to happen. But
Yeah.
let's start. Let's just go with some basic questions.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence that the Earth is flat? Let's talk about empirical kind of measurements, things that people can go and check. Is there anything that suggests the world could actually be flat? You there? Goodness me, what's happened? Oh, well, we started. It says that he's still connected. I ask a question, he leaves, and the call disconnects. Fuck's sake. Schrodinger's cat for $4.99. The test tube is not natural and thus cannot be used in science. Absolutely. Oh, fuck's sake, flat earthers. Hey guys, welcome to the debate. One question there. Where's measurements of flat earth? And he disappears. I'll tell you what it is, guys, right? The Earth's obviously flat, and they don't want the truth getting out. So as soon as James came on, they had to cut him off. What you don't realize is that there's men in black just like charging into his house, using memory devices on him and stuff. You can't know the truth. You can't know the Earth's flat. That's gonna get clipped. Hey, clip this, flat earthers. I'm FTFE, and I know the Earth's flat. I don't, but you're all fucking idiots, and you're gonna clip that anyway. Jackalope Herdmaster says, I think that may be a record. Yeah. I think he was connected for about 40 seconds. I don't know what happened, guys. Like... Oh, fuck. I give up. I give up. Petermas Prime for $2 says, is this a win by forfeit? It's definitely not a win for Flat Earth, that's all I know. Oh, goodness me. Oh, I don't even know what to say. Bitto says, looks like he just delivered a pizza with pineapple and ran away. Bad Uncle Bob says, chalk it up as a rage quit. Oh, he's logging back in. Oscar Guerra for $5 says, I think his laptop's a flat earther. James, you there?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't plug in my my charger.
That's okay.
I hadn't checked it. I thought I'd turn the plug on. So it seems like we're destined to fail this evening.
It's always fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we're all plugged in, turned on now. You know, not in any other way other than electric.
Okay.
And good. Yeah.
Right, let me
sorry for the wait, guys.
Let me ask the question again, because this is something I've been asking a lot of flat earthers, and none of them can really answer it, right? And it comes down to one simple thing for me, right? Why isn't there any measurements of the Earth being flat or motionless, but there is measurements of it being curved and moving?
Yeah. Well, basically, I've really come on here to tell you, really, that I had a debate with you and Nathan Oakley the other day, and I never really listened to much Nathan.
Debate.
No, but hang on. Like, you know, and what I find kind of like ironic, really, in these conversations is people, neither of whom are clearly stupid, calling each other stupid. Like I don't doubt that every single person I've met within this whole discussion is not, well, the majority of them, I wouldn't class them as stupid.
Okay.
Hang on. The stupidity that I would attach to them is in their behaviour, right?
Can you agree that Nathan Oakley acted pretty stupid?
Yeah, well, but to be honest, Nathan Oakley needs a bit of a coach or something, because
Nathan Oakley needs a slap. That's what he needs.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, a lot of you guys, you know, I'm a bit new to this. I haven't really done a lot of YouTubing, to be fair. And, like, I've listened to a few of these platforms and stuff, and sometimes the discussion breaks down. Like the other night, I really found with your friend and you as well. Like, you got to realise that, like, you behave like little boys. Like, we are here to try and discover the true nature of reality. Are we not?
Well, some of you are. Now, if you want to talk about Nathan Oakley,
Some of us are.
right? If you want to talk about Nathan Oakley, there is one big fact that you need to know about Nathan Oakley, right? Nathan Oakley isn't a flat earther, right? Nathan Oakley isn't stupid, because Nathan Oakley has taken flat earthers for a ride for years. Nathan Oakley has admitted on stream in a side chat that he didn't realize was being displayed that he isn't a flat earther. There is nothing about Nathan Oakley that is about trying to discover truth, right? Nathan Oakley purely does this for money, because he's got flat earthers hooked that will be his member, will be his patron, and will send him super chats, right?
But you've got more subscribers than he has, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's just because I've been entertaining, right? And I'm not going to deny that I do this full time as a career, you know, so I need to earn money. But the thing is, I'm not lying to people to do it. As Nathan Oakley is lying to people. He does not believe the Earth is flat. And although people can come onto my channel and we can have shouting matches, blah, 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 what Nathan Oakley does is he gets people on purely to berate them, to say horrible, like, sexual things to them. Like, he's going to put his... How many times did he say he was going to put his balls in my mouth, you know? And things like that. So when I was doing my 40-hour stream to celebrate getting 40,000 subscribers, right? And I've never gone into Nathan Oakley's channel because I know he's not a flat earther. But I wanted to have some fun. So I said to my audience, I'm going to go to Nathan Oakley's channel during this stream and troll him. I went there to see how quickly I could trigger him. And I achieved that. Because there is no debating with Nathan Oakley. Number one, because he's not a flat earther. And number two, because he doesn't allow it on his channel. He turns you down, he overtalks you, he mutes you constantly. So that's why what happened with Nathan Oakley happened in the way it did. Because I wanted that to happen. For entertainment, for fun.
Right, okay, sure. Well, basically, I don't believe you. I don't believe that he's not a flat earther.
I can send you the video to prove that that's a fact, and
Send me the video.
everybody knows that this is a fact that's been in this for a long time, because he slipped up and let it out that he isn't a flat earther, that he knows there is perfect globe proofs, and those are his words. You know.
Yeah.
There
are.
This isn't me
Basically,
saying this is him.
Like, to be honest, I was going to come on to this evening and say that I don't really feel like it's my place to kind of debate the science with you guys, because I'm not a scientist. I had never trained as a scientist. I've trained as a language student. I've always been in the arts. I'm a musician. Like, I studied politics and I did urban design and development as a master's. I've worked in charities and government stuff. Like, that's my thing, right? I'm not a scientist, right? So I'm just that's just how it is, right? I've never been a scientist. So, because the thing is, once you get down to like scientific debates, you can blind and fool people with science talk when the other person doesn't know that field. Now, basically, I don't really feel like as I say, that it's my place to debate this scientifically with anyone, really. If I've made my conclusions, and really the most tangible example of that really is in the plane flying over the Earth, which you seem to claim you think you provided me a model with, but you haven't. Until basically what I want you to do, or really what I'd like to do, if you're up for it, is for us to meet up, right? Yeah. And to video with like an independent cameraman or someone who's independent in videoing the whole thing, right? And someone there to mediate, right? Who's neutral, right? To demonstrate what I'm trying to say to you. Because I think you should be able to demonstrate quite easily the relative motion going on with a plane flying over the Earth that you talk about. I can.
I've actually been thinking about a good way to explain it to you. All right. I want you to try and visualize.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go on. Yeah. How long
does it take? Try and visualize something for me. Okay. Right. Imagine two spheres, one inside of the other. Right. The one on the outside is see-through. All right. Now both of these spheres are rotating.
One inside the other.
Yeah. One inside the other. Right. So you got a see-through one that's this bigger, and one inside it that's slightly smaller. Okay. Both of them are rotating, clockwise, but the one on the outside is rotating half as fast, right? Now, if you were to draw a plane on that one on the outside, you would see, because it's going half as fast as the other one, it's still moving forward, but relative to the one on the inside, it would be going backwards. So you would go from one position backwards on that globe, but both are still rotating in the same direction.
Yeah. Well, I think you should make a model of this. Honestly, because it's not good enough. You just
it's a digital model, okay? Because I can quite easily model this out in Blender or something.
No, I don't want a digital model. I want you to demonstrate the motion. I don't think it should be that hard. Like, it's ultimately, what are we dealing with? I'm not a physicist, right? I'm just kind of having a bit of fun here, really. I'm just kind of trying to look at these topics and understand as I go along, right? But as far as I can see it, right, relative motion doesn't appear to be like a very complicated thing.
It's not.
It's just two frames of reference. Something it's basically what's going on, isn't it? Like, so that the fly inside the car is one reference, and the car moving along the road is the other reference, right? Is that am I correct?
Yeah.
Right.
But you need to when you're trying to visualize these things, you need to try and think of it from a single frame of reference to be able to understand the relative motion between the two things.
I'm understanding from a single point of reference as being someone that stood on the ground watching the car and the fly.
Yeah. Or in your case,
what's
with the plane? Because your issue is saying that the plane goes backwards and forwards at the same time, right?
Whereas, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not really going backwards and forwards. It's just from its frame of reference, it's rotating in the same direction, but a little bit slower.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying and what you think that means as a consequence. And I'm saying to you that doesn't make any sense, basically. And I want you to prove to me this, that you should be able to prove to me in a physical format, really, to show this relative motion. Because until you do that, I'm saying that basically this theory only adds up in your mind as a theory, and maybe as a digital thing that you program and somehow you come up with the right results. But what I'm saying, keeping it very simple, which is, as I say, we can make a very easy model of a train or a car demonstrating relative motion. You should be able to do it with a plane over the Earth.
Yeah, I can.
I'm willing
to actually physically build something is going to be a little bit troublesome because I don't have materials to do that. And currently, I'm in complete isolation because my daughter needs to be. She's been quite poorly, so we've had to have coronavirus tests. So my family's in like complete lockdown until we get the test results back. So I can't even kind of leave the house to get materials at the moment. But a digital model is something that I can do quite easily. I've been teaching myself Blender specifically for reasons like this.
Well, do it. I'll be interested to see it. Do it, but I'm not really.
And that's the thing, right? If I was going to build something physically, I would first model it out digitally.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
we'll do that.
Think about what architects do, right? You know, architects, modern day architects, they use a program like CAD, you know, to digitally design what they're going to do to make sure it all works.
Yeah, I know what CAD is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, doing something digital because it's purely based on maths, you can't lie about it, right? That's the thing.
Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you're using a simple program like Blender or you know, a simple CAD-based program.
Right.
Woodland Toad in the chat says, why does it have to be a digital model? Purely because building a physical model, what he's asking to do, will be troublesome, and I don't really have the materials to do it. But Carl Bryan says, hope your daughter gets better soon. She's fine. She's just had like a bad cold and a cough for a while, and you know, it's better safe than sorry. There was some of the symptoms that could be coronavirus, so just to be safe, we had to order a test and, you know, give her something, which was quite traumatic. I don't know if anyone's had to actually give any of their children the coronavirus test, where you have to like get the quite big cotton swab and put it to the back of the throat and up the nose. But she did not like that, and that was a real hard thing getting that done. But if anyone does have to get their kids tested for coronavirus, there's some good videos online of how to calm them down and stuff, because, you know, it's not a nice thing. But she's fine. I'm pretty sure she's got a bad cold.
Why did you have to get her tested?
Because she had some symptoms that were, you know, on the list of things that could be coronavirus. A continuous cough, runny nose and things like that. So it's just better at the moment to be safe and get the test because, you know, she's a child, she's going to school. So until the results are back, you know, we're obviously locked down in the house. But like I said, I'm pretty sure, and that it's just a cold that she had.
But then, so presumably, if it has to come back and say yes, she's got coronavirus, she will then isolate even from you, presumably, for 2 weeks, or what?
Well, I think we would just, as a household, have to isolate for 2 weeks because let's face it, at this point, if she's got it, so do I. You know.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you got any symptoms or anything?
I had a bit of a cough, but honestly, I think that's because the kids have just gone back to school recently, and you know, when kids go back to school, generally after summer holidays, colds and stuff, you know, it happens. So I think that they just brought a nasty cold into the house, and all of us have had a bit of it.
Why didn't you just let it run its course?
Just because of the situation we're in. The rules are at the moment, if there is symptoms, you need to get the test because, you know, you're not necessarily going to get all the symptoms.
You're putting an awful lot of faith ultimately in the test.
Well, that's the idea.
People are saying a lot about how the tests are not entirely reliable, and people have come back with positive tests when they've tested things that aren't even humans.
I mean, I know there has been, you know, as with any test, you know, there can be false positives and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, even if it came back that it was
why wouldn't you just let it run its course? I don't understand. If you didn't have any symptoms, why would it's just a cough or a cold? Why do you like?
Because we're in the middle of a global pandemic and it was the responsible thing to do. Because if she does
Well,
have
I
it,
don't. Well,
then if she does
why
have
do
it, then we can
things?
say that the thing is, right. If she does have it, then we can let her friends that have played with her know, so that you can do the tracing who could possibly else have it. And
All
yeah,
right. Yeah.
it
Okay.
probably
Cool.
is just the cold, right? 99% certain for me that it's just the cold. I feel fine. I've got over it. But in the current situation we're in, it
You
was
think
just the
that's
right thing
right.
to do.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Um, right. Basically, where were we? I can't remember what we
Yeah,
were saying now. Really.
frames of
But
reference, right? And yeah,
yeah.
I could build something physically with a globe with something holding a plane on to show you the relative motion, but it's as simple as understanding that it's still rotating with
Yeah.
the
But
Earth, but it would be rotating
I'd
slower.
like that. I, I'd like that, and then for us to be in the room together with a few people who are neutral, who like I don't know, either side can choose or something. I don't know, so that they can
I
be
don't think there's people
witness
that are
to.
neutral.
Well, I think there are. There are some people who don't really know, or well, we could have people from either side. There are some people who certainly don't know, like people who've been had this suggested to them, and they say, "Well, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what to think. Whatever, whatever."
Yeah,
They kind of pass off the acquiesce kind of responsibility to the scientists. Which is fair enough, I suppose. But we could get people. Do you know what I mean? Of all like not tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying to do this tomorrow, but I've got this kind of video visualized in a way,
yeah.
if you like.
I mean,
Um,
what I can do for you in the next couple of days
which I think
is
will be quite
create
also quite
is
helpful for us to communicate exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe
yeah.
you'll be able to show me what I'm missing.
Well, James, I mean, I know last time you came on, it was a bit of a dumpster fire, and we were shouting back and forward, and that. Today seems like it's a better conversation, right? And if I was able to help you, then at the end of the day, that's kind of what I want. I want to be able to show people how to understand what I'm explaining, right? And if I could show you a
Yeah.
model that would help you understand, then I'd feel like I'm doing a good job here on YouTube. What I can do for you in the next couple of days is use Blender and After Effects and create a few different digital models to explain the concept. And then I can look at building something physical with a globe and something else that could hold the plane on. But I would have to get some materials to do that.
But yeah, and you're in Scotland, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So I don't know who I'd be willing to make the trek if it's really a problem for you, and if you could find a space somewhere. As I say, not tomorrow, just as an idea, a general idea that may or may not, materialize either near you. Let's say if you can't move because you've got a family and stuff, I'm relatively free and easy. I could maybe jump on a train or something and come up to you honestly, I'm very passionate about this because I'm passionate about the truth of the nature of reality. But also I'm passionate about my fellow brethren, like my fellow brothers and sisters, like on Earth. Genuinely,
Well,
I think the
that's
greatest.
just a good, that's being a good human, James. I think we're all passionate
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
everyone being happy.
yeah.
But
But there's,
and
when
that's
you
what
had
this
your friend
conversation is
on,
about. This conversation is about the nature of reality, and that's what it
yeah,
comes down to. There is only one objective reality, and that's what I'm trying to get across. Yeah, I can be abrasive, I can shout and stuff at flat earthers when they're dicks to me, but at the end of the day, I want to help explain reality because I think it's so obvious that the reality is we live on a globe that is rotating. All of the evidence
right,
points that way. All of the things that should happen, if that is the case, do happen. There isn't any
right.
holes in the heliocentric model like a lot of flat earthers say. The only, well, if they say there's a hole, it's just them not understanding physics. And you even said yourself, you're not into physics. You're not a scientist. Your degree
No, 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 no,
is
no,
in
no.
political stuff, right?
I'm very much into it. I'm very much into it. I'm just not qualified. I'm an
Yeah,
armchair
that's
physicist.
what I meant. Yeah,
A
I mean,
bit like with biology, I'm fascinated with it, but it's YouTube that's taught me over the past 10, 15 years, whatever. It's just in my spare time, I've had these topics of interest. And I find them fascinating. But I'm not paid for it. Do you know what I mean? I've never had a career in science.
yeah. And that's great, right? That you want to learn. You don't have qualification in it, but you're obviously interested in it, right? And that's where
Yeah.
a lot of great careers in
Also,
science start. And James, you're obviously smart
yeah.
enough to go and get a master's, right? You're obviously smart enough to be able to study and take in information and use it in the correct way. And maybe you just need to learn how to do that with physics stuff. Because I mean,
Well,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't I'm not being nasty to you when I say this, but you don't know anything about physics, do you?
Well, I don't know. Literally, the last physics like lesson I took was GCSE, and I got a C. I think I might have got a B. I
Exactly.
probably got a C or a B. I didn't get any lower than C's, but might have got a C or either a C or a B. Right. Anyway, I didn't get an A. I was never like a hot shot. It never something that really sunk in with me. But I didn't fail massively. But the last time I paid attention and thought about physics concepts, like when you asked me how many degrees are there inside a triangle, you put me on the spot, and I was suddenly, and later on, I was suddenly, if I think about it, actually, I suppose is 180, because I was thinking you're kind of coming back in a circle, like a full circle. So I didn't think of it, and I was panicking a bit because I was live, and so I said 180, 180. But then, you know, it's not because I'm stupid as such. I'd never really thought about it. Honestly, if you walk down the street and ask a load of people, I mean, you'd probably get some very well-educated people who would say the wrong answer, is what I'm saying. It doesn't prove anything in itself. I haven't thought about these physical concepts in a
No,
while.
I,
So
I
the last
understand
class,
that, right? But
the last
let's,
class I took was a GCSE. But
let's take what
around
you said there, right? So you've got your GCSE in physics that's a C, right? I'm not going to take that away.
Yeah.
That's a good achievement in general, right? B or C,
maybe
you know,
a B.
that's nothing to be laughed at, right? But that's really not enough to discern nature. And here's what I've been saying to flat earthers since I started this. If any flat earther took anything A level or above in physics and passed it, they wouldn't be a flat earther. There is no way that you can pass a physics course of that level and still think the earth is flat. Physics just, no physics backs up any kind of flat earth model or anything. It just doesn't work.
I don't know, man. Basically, I just haven't had enough time, But I discovered flat Earth in 2016. I've had a load of shit that's happened since 2016. I've like moved all over the place, come back here, sold places, and like bought places, and my life's been all over the place. But I'm in a place that I'm going to be for the next foreseeable future, and I'm building a new future, and I'm going to start putting down roots and establishing myself again. And I am convinced that I will be able to meet someone on my, wanderings who studied physics, who is interested in exploring this topic, and really like demonstrate whether what you've just said is true or not. Because I don't think all physics relates to. I know you're going to say, well, yeah, it does, but I think not all physics relates to whether or not there is this thing called gravity or not. Basically.
No, obviously not all the physics does it, but
enough
of the physics you cover at A level. I mean, at A level, you do things like. Let me just say this: like when you do an A level, right? Some of the things that you do is try to, for instance, you've got Newton's law of gravitational attraction, Fg equals gm1 m2 over r squared. You will derive that from experiments that you do based around gravity. So you would do your own experiments to be able to then calculate rate of acceleration and fall, and with the masses that you have and you've used, you can actually derive Newton's laws from doing physical experiments and things like that. And that's why I say that if you were to pass a physics A level, even with just a passing grade, there is no way that you could think the Earth is flat because no physics back it up. And obviously not all physics is to do with gravity and the Earth shape and stuff, but so much of, in fact, I mean, no physics works on the flat Earth. And when you are doing the maths around, load-bearing structures and energy transformation and stuff, none of it supports the flat Earth.
Well, I don't know, man. Basically, right, the first flat Earth discussion forum thing that I joined was 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, whatever. And I've really enjoyed it, but then it's gone into kind of science, and I kind of debated to the best of my ability, and it's just headbutting. When I hear people like Nathan Oakley with whatever you want to say or say not about him, or other people, but anyway, people who are more qualified than I am, and there's lots of people who are intelligent on either side who are arguing their point. like basically the science, I'm not really that interested now in debating it. Such for me, I've heard enough. I've heard enough around it, like to be drawn, to have my attention drawn to it, and was shocked to really think that, you know, genuinely was the first time I'd ever really thought about it in my life. And that's the same for everyone who comes across this thing, really. Like I've never really,
Oh no,
apart from
yeah,
being
you're right.
told.
Even for me, you know, 2 years ago, maybe just over 2 years ago, I didn't even know about the flat Earth scene, and then I came across it, and I was like, "What the actual fuck?" And I started going into some Facebook groups and stuff, and arguing with some flat earthers, and then I talked about it to my wife so much, and then my son had an encounter with a flat earther in real life. My wife was just like, "You know what? I don't care. Stop talking to me about it. Just make your own YouTube channel." So I did.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're totally genuine, like I would just, you know, really just say, keep doing what you're doing and kind of just try and remain decent. That's all I would say. I mean, I know it's fun. Like, I've never enjoyed it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm half French, quarter Russian, quarter French, half English. I've got a weird past. Like, at school, I never enjoyed really taking the piss out of people. I don't know. You could say I'm soft or whatever, but I just don't do it. It's a very British thing or Anglo-Saxon thing where there's a lot of banter and like criticism and people love it and whatever. I don't do it. I'm like a bit of a philosopher, really. I kind of, and a bit of a hippie. I like let everyone do their thing, but I've got a strong opinion at the same time. Do you know what I mean? But I don't really like to kind of have a
wrong
go.
with having a strong opinion. But the problem
Yeah,
comes is when you deny the knowledge that certain people have, right? You know, for instance,
Well, it's not
you know,
denying.
there's a guy
It's not.
in the community moment called PhD Tony, you know, who
Yeah.
you know he's got a PhD and covers a lot of physics stuff, and his job, it revolves around gravity and things like that, and he knows what he's talking about. And then you'll have flat earthers that are like, "Oh no, you're just wrong. You're wrong." You know, even though this guy has a PhD, he spent his entire life studying, knows what he's talking about. Flat earthers that don't have any qualifications in physics will tell him that he's wrong. And that just doesn't make any sense, because how would you know he's wrong if you've never studied physics?
I know, but that's why this discussion just kind of, in a way, sort of like ends up at this really inconclusive place where you've got a situation where you've got people who claim to understand the science fully, explaining it to people who, in their eyes, doesn't understand the science fully. In some cases, that may well be the case, that they're not familiar with this science that they're explaining them. Now, basically, you know, the people who are not the scientists are convinced about their belief of flat Earth based on their observations and multiple observations that resonate with them, and they've never thought about before, and then have come to the conclusion that is resembling a flat Earth. Now, your science basically is something they can't really argue with if they're not familiar with. And all what I would say is that it would take someone of equal caliber to point out where you're wrong. Like, for example, I don't know. I mean, what it was. No, sorry, this whole accusation that you have of Nathan Oakley, I don't know what to say to that, because claim that he's not a flat earther.
Now, let me be clear that that's not coming from me. That is knowledge that is out there, that if you look it up, you will come to the same conclusion. He was the one that put that out there himself. He did it by accident, but he outed himself as a fake flat earther.
Can I just like basically what my point was, basically the discussions ends up at a place where it's kind of butting heads in a sort of way, and it's a bit frustrating, and neither side's going to concede. And it's like, I kind of think like that's the purpose of the discussion. If you go at it, it's a bit like cage fighting. You go at it and neither is willing to concede, and you're both fucking, you know, bloody. Like, I suppose in cage fighting one person has to win, but like, in a way, without a ref, if in some kind of ulterior universe where no one gets knocked out in this discussion because it's academic, it's just like goes on forever and is a bit like headbutting. And I can see where you're coming from. You think it's to them not accepting the science and just accepting it. But from the other point of view, there's always another side's opinion. And basically, that's why I'm not really just having a further discussion. I just know I could feel I know that the Earth is not moving. Okay, I've just come to that conclusion, and I've also come to the conclusion that there's, you know,
But why would
120,000
you come
feet.
to that conclusion though, when it can be measured?
No, but it can't be measured. I don't want to have a discussion about it being measured. You talking about the degree, 15 degrees?
Well, that and many other things. You know, there is so many experiments that can show that the Earth is actually moving. There's so many things that
Right, yeah,
happen that can only happen if the Earth is rotating. For instance, right, if you are, let's say you're a sniper and you're on the equator, right, and you are firing.
The Coriolis.
No, I'm not talking about Coriolis. In this case, I'm talking about Yacht-Voss effect, right? And this is something that happens that I've talked to snipers, right? If you're on the equator and you're firing west, the bullet will deflect towards the sky. It will actually go up above the target that you are aiming at because of the conservation of momentum and the Yacht-Voss effect. And this is something that is predicted due to the Earth rotating and is something that happens. And that's what I mean about if the Earth is rotating, there's certain things that should happen, and those things do happen. Coriolis, Yacht-Voss, storms and everything are caused because of the Earth rotating. The fact that if a big storm cell tries to go over the equator, it dies. Right? It's literally impossible. If there's a hurricane in the northern hemisphere and it goes over the equator, that's the hurricane dead. Because the counter rotation literally stops the energy being transferred in a certain way and just kills the hurricane. And that is something that is predicted and expected if the Earth is rotating. So that's why I say... Sorry, go on.
Unless there's something else going on at the equator, electromagnetically or something that we haven't worked out yet. I don't know.
But that's the thing. All this science is understood. Electromagnetism is well understood. There's electrostatic voltmeters that would be able to tell if there's something that does that. You know, all these...
The thing is, okay, the thing is, right, basically, and this is why, like, literally, I'm very passionate about it, and I talk to people about this kind of to a certain degree, to my level, if you like. But I'm not really interested in debating it with people like you who are qualified in science and are convinced about blah, 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 for endless hours. Because I know that you're convinced that you know the science and it proves exactly what you're saying. But the thing is, it's a bit of a tangent here, but it's kind of what this whole discussion was going to be about anyway. It's kind of like your apparent like conviction in the theory of evolution and it being science. I'm not saying that things are necessarily like comparable, as in the science of evolution is just as unproven as this science. So I think the science of evolution is probably more clearly unproven than the science you're talking about to do with the curvature of the Earth, even though I've really confused things now. But basically what I'm saying is...
I mean, evolutionary scientists would disagree with you. There's so much evidence to back up what evolution says.
And the thing is, again, literally, I'm not even here to go have endless debate with you and trying to prove it, because it's just like, I don't think any proof further than what my words describe, right? I feel I can do it justice perfectly well by just because, you know, I'm not a scientist as such, and it doesn't require a scientist to understand it. Like, my concept and logic really is really quite simple. And like the idea that things could make themselves, you believe this theory of evolution has got like proof that things have made themselves without anything guiding it. And personally, I'm just stunned.
That's a bit of a straw man, because that's not what evolution is. Evolution is guided.
Okay,
very much.
You know, about that, I wanted to ask you. Okay, so I always get into trouble with evolutionists when I try and reference what I think they believe, because I think I'm quoting pretty mainstream evolutionary beliefs. But anyway, can you tell me what is your because you keep on telling me how evolution has progressed and blah blah, which I completely accept and all the rest of it. And so my question to you is, like, what is your definition of evolution? Like, if you had to summarize it in, like, I don't know, like a couple of sentences,
All right.
where are we at now in evolution?
The best way to describe
Define.
evolution is a progression of small mutations that over time equate to larger things happening. So, for instance, for instance, let's talk about
a progression.
A progression of mutations that react to environmental pressures.
Small mutations or mutations?
Well, all mutations are small. You know, each mutation in itself is a small change from previous. But if there's a progression of small mutations, at one point it's going to look like a large mutation from a long time ago.
Yeah, because what's that quote that Darwin says that if something can be proved that it couldn't be achieved through small increments, then you must know the quote from his book.
I think
if something
when he said that,
basically if something can be shown not to have been made through small increments, what is it? Can you get it up, please?
Yeah, I know the one you're on.
So I'm trying to write down. You said the progression of small mutations. Did you say progression? I wrote it down really badly.
Yeah, but a progression of small mutations that are reactions to environmental pressures.
That are reactions to environmental pressure. Okay.
I think this is the quote you're on about. Where is it? Oh God, I just lost it. Control F. Increment. Darwin himself answered the question and brought together many excellent examples to show the differences, apparently insignificant because very small, might be of decisive importance for the life of the possessor. But it is by no means enough to bring forward cases of this kind, for the question is not merely whether finished adaptations have selection value, but whether the first beginnings of these, and whether the small, I might almost say minimal increments, which have led up from these beginnings to the perfect adaptation, have also had selective value. So he's basically saying that the small increments will add up to a large change over time.
Yeah, right. Okay, so basically things get built over time in small increments, right?
Well, I don't know if "built" is the right word there.
But actually, I want to take you up on something. I think your definition of evolution is wrong. Can I explain to you why I think your definition is wrong by your own standard? You've just said a progression of mutations that are reactions to environmental pressures.
Yes.
Now, I thought that evolution is merely, the original definition was natural selection acting upon random mutation, was it not?
Yeah, it is random mutations, right?
It's
that's what I'm. When I say a reaction to environmental pressures, I mean over time, right?
Do you see my point?
Yeah. So when I talk about a reaction to environmental pressures, I mean over time. So if there is a mutation that is, hold on, James. If there, wait, one sec. Let me explain. If there is a mutation that is beneficial to the environmental pressures, then that is the mutation that will carry on and pass on the genes, right?
It's random. It's random.
Yeah, all mutations are random, but it can seem, if there is a certain environmental pressure, certain mutations will be more beneficial to those environmental pressures. So it could be seen from an outside perspective as though the environmental pressures guide the evolution. But it's just it's not really that. From the point of view of the organism that is evolving, it's a random mutation that has allowed a certain gene to continue. But it's the environmental pressures that will decide which mutation is successful.
Yeah, but you can't use the word reaction.
You can when you're looking at it over the long period of time. The progression of
No,
mutations will
you
be
can't. Who's doing the reacting?
when I say reaction, I mean it is whatever is beneficial to the environmental pressures, right? So if there is, for
No,
instance, hold on, James,
no.
let me explain, please, right? If
I
there
know,
is
I get what you're saying.
if
I
there is an
understand what you're
environmental
saying.
pressure that
Look,
would be bent, you know, if there's
you're
environmental
saying,
pressure, right, hold on. If there's an environmental pressure that, for instance, makes the environment hotter, right? And there is a mutation within a species that allows it to survive better in the hotter conditions, then that mutation is the one that will be successful. And that's
yeah.
why I mean a reaction is because there is mutations that will survive based on environmental pressures.
Yeah, but it's not a reaction though. It's chance, it's luck.
The
That's all
mutations
it
are,
is.
yes, but the
So the
survival
whole
of those
thing,
mutations is a reaction to what the environmental pressures are.
no, it's not a reaction though. Listen to yourself. It can't be a reaction. It's not a reaction. It's randomly mutating,
Yeah,
and
no,
it either comes. It
you're right.
either
But
comes up,
if there's
either
like,
comes up with a good
sorry, go
thing
on.
or a bad thing. It's a roll of the dice every time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, right. But
You
if there is,
can't. No.
hold on. If there's 5 different mutations,
Let me talk for a sec. I've just let you talk for a sec. Like, nothing is reacting. Nothing's actually reacting at it, but you've just got like a series of rolls of the dice going on all around you
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, right. Okay, but here's the
And
thing, right? Let's say if there's
yeah,
five different mutations, right? You got one organism, and there's 5 different mutations from its offspring, right? But only one of those mutations is going to survive in the current environmental pressures. You could say the genes that survived were a reaction to the environmental
yeah,
pressures.
but it weren't. It weren't. It was completely random because it might not be any of them.
No,
Not
it
none of
might
them,
not
or
be,
it might have been.
but because of the environmental pressure, a certain gene was able to, become the dominant gene and pass on. Right. So
I don't think that's right.
if there is an environmental pressure, the adaptation for mutation will be more successful. Maybe react isn't the right word. All right.
Yeah, it is
Maybe
one
react
word.
isn't the right word. But I'm trying to look at it
Doing,
from an outside perspective over a longer period of time. Right.
it appears to have reacted, is what you're
Yeah,
saying in a way.
absolutely. Because a
Yeah.
certain mutation will be beneficial and be able to survive in the environmental pressures. So from the outside perspective, it can look like the evolution of that species was a reaction to what the environmental pressures are. Because what you will see, if you were
Yeah.
to graph it out, you would see the change in environmental pressure, and then behind that there would be the successful adaptations through mutations. So it would be behind it, which would make it look like it was a reaction to the environmental pressure. Does that make sense? But
Yeah, but
when you're looking at it from like each
it's kind of the wrong word because the
yeah,
whole thing is random, and it really
oh,
gets me about evolution.
of course it
How
is.
like I can't believe how anyone really would fully, after having this debate over time and thinking about it, could still fully believe that like everything is just like chance, and
Why
then the
not?
environmental pressures. The scenario we've just spoken about, the mutations happen, whatever, you either get something that's good or not. And you think that's sufficient to answer how everything got here
Well,
with
yeah, of
nothing
course.
guiding it. It just stuns me. It stuns me. It's like basically I'm the only time that I construct something, right? I'm a musician. I've retrained as a carpenter, I've done a bit of building, like a bit of construction work for like about 5-6 years. So I've understood a bit, about how to build houses, right? And there's a way to build houses. It's a bit like the way the heart's built. There's like a way to build a heart, right? And it happens in a certain way, like a certain a certain order, and it's all dependent on one another, and
Well, okay, yeah,
it's
but
information.
here's the thing. You're thinking on a small scale,
Really
right?
are. Please let me finish. Now, we really are divine pieces of construction, like we're like electronics and plumbing and biology, and we're
You realise how
electronic
shitly designed
robots.
our bodies are, right?
No, we're not, though, mate. That's really not true.
It really
Tell me
is.
why.
Why did I nearly die because I've got a useless organ?
Okay, right. What's your problem?
My
I mean, I don't mean to say
appendix
that.
exploded.
Okay, right. Right.
Why?
Okay.
Why do
The
I
appendix.
have a completely
And by the
useless
way,
organ that's only functioned in my entire life was to nearly kill me? I mean, that doesn't seem well made to me. And why do I now need a stick to even walk around my own house? You know, my body fucking sucks.
Because your appendix.
No, other injuries that I've had. My shoulder was destroyed during the military, and that's led to further injuries, and my knee doesn't work. For goodness sake, I need glasses so that the world is actually in 1080p. At the moment, the world's, I'm pretty sure this is like 144. You know, my body sucks. Like, why the hell would they put the most important organ, my brain, on top of a really spindly fucking useless bit of, you know, bone and tissue that can get easily snapped and broken? I'm sorry, but the body is a completely useless, rubbish design.
Have you snapped your neck? What's wrong with your neck? Is it uncomfortable?
Nothing's wrong with my neck, but it seems like a really stupid place to put the most important organ on top of something that can get broken so easily.
Well,
and why do we breathe and eat through the same hole? That seems like a really bad design to me. I mean, honestly, the human body is not designed well.
Well, I wouldn't agree with you, really. I mean, like, to be fair, lack in your human body is probably the number one reason, and ill health, really, especially in people who are born that way, we've had a kind of conversation about your sister before and stuff, and I would agree. And for me, it still is the most challenging thing to believe in a God confronted with imperfections in this prototype of human beings that, you know, if it works properly, it all works amazingly, but there's like a percentage that lots of things don't work, and there's actually a lot of us have lots of things that end up not working, blah, blah, but maybe that's just part of it all. But there's also other things that are really very harsh, people born with spinal bifida, things like that, and all the rest of it.
Not just that, but like, why is everything in Australia trying to kill people?
The list is endless, right? And really, that like handicap of any sort really is like, as I say, the number one argument against God in my eyes, and I completely get it. And it's one thing that many times in my life has made me just sort of like look at God and think, what are you doing? Like, basically, you know, what, but over time, I feel, I mean, thank God I'm not the one who's in that situation. And it's very easy. You know, I thought, talking about MS, it's funny, I had a nervous breakdown last year, and I started to get real tingling in my legs, and they went numb at points. My feet went numb, and I was getting these cold sweats at night, and I had this fatigue that was like unlike anything else. Basically, I had a bit of a breakdown. I won't go into it. There's a lot of stuff that's happened, and I wasn't coping with it, and I was coming up with these symptoms, and I ended up going to see a neurologist. And anyway, point is, I really feared for my life for a couple of months. I genuinely thought I was really ill, right? I've never had that before in my life. Like, I'm not a hypochondriac, you know, like I kind of, I'm just being honest with you. Like, it's something that I'm glad I'm not, basically. And it really made me think, you know, when I realized I wasn't ill, that thank God I'm not ill. The point of my rant really is that it's very harsh and it's very unfortunate if you are ill. Okay? Are you still with me?
Yes. Tell me about your father.
Sorry, have I really bored you, mate?
No, sorry, it's just turned into a therapy session, people in the chat are saying.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I was just making a joke, it's fine. James, with God, right, here's what I say, all right? There's no evidence for God, but there's also no evidence that there isn't God. I could never outright say, no, there is no God. I don't personally have a belief in God because I can see the universe works perfectly fine without the need for divine intervention. Right? But who am I to say that all wasn't set up by some higher being? I don't know. I've got no evidence of that either way. Right? I think I describe myself as an agnostic atheist. I don't know, because there is no way to prove if God is real or not. I don't think there's any need for a God in the universe that we have, but
this is what my second question really was going to be to you. I mean, I was going to write more questions, but I ended up kind of really just having two in a way, like amongst others, would come out anyway. But basically, what would it take for you to be convinced that God made everything?
if he turned up on my doorstep, performed a miracle, and explained why my little sister's got MS.
So for you, it would literally take for someone to turn up at your front door and introduce himself and be like, prove him to you that he's God, and be like, look, I'm clearly God, and you just knew it. You're like, this geezer's God, fucking hell.
Yeah, if someone turned up at my door that's all, if God's all powerful, then there's no reason why he couldn't turn up at my door and, create a ball of cold fusion in his hand. If he's God and he's all powerful, then he should be able to do that. All right, but
then hang on, think about it, right? If let's just contemplate this idea for a sec, okay, and go with me on it, right? If that were to happen, right? Imagine that were to happen. Right, I kind of feel like you're not really paying attention.
No, I'm listening.
Typing, but... Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're listening to someone else.
No, sorry, I'm responding to chat. I can multitask. It's fine. I have to manage the stream and everything at the same time.
Okay. It'd be nice if I could see what people are saying.
Yeah, it's live on my channel right now. You can just go and have a look.
It's all right.
But anyway, I'm listening to you, I promise.
Okay, so right, if that happened to you, right? So God turns up at your door, okay, and does this cold fusion, whatever it is you're talking about, ball of light, and explains to you why your sister has MS. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what, like, I know it sounds like a stupid thing to ask, but what would happen next?
I'd fight him.
No, don't be like that.
No, I'm serious, James, because, right, let's talk about this for real, right? If God is real, right, and he turns up at my door and proves to me that he's God, then he's got some explaining to do. If he is all powerful and he's created the entire universe, then I'm sorry, but he is a psychopath that needs fighting. And that is my honest answer to you. If God turned up at my door and proved that he was God, we would be fighting and I would throw the first punch.
Well, do you know what? Do you know something? You may actually be more of a godly man than you think then.
Why?
Because actually there's a character in the Bible who was called Jacob, and then he was later called Israel. And the reason why he was called Israel, he got changed, and then the whole story goes through this guy, right, is because he fought with God. He didn't actually fight with God, but he fought with one of God's angels who turned up, and he basically fought with him. And in many ways, God actually wants us to fight with him, because life is fucked up. And I don't have all the answers, but all I know is that, like, there's something amazing going on, and actually we're all in it together, and it is actually amazing. We're not alone.
Hey,
like,
right. No, here's the thing, right? Life is amazing. Yeah. Now, what I think is more amazing than us being created by some mystical being, what I think is more amazing is the billions and billions of little things that have had to happen for us to exist. James, you are literally made of stardust. That is fucking incredible. I don't need a God in my life to see beauty in the universe and amazement and wonder. The fact that we even exist at all is the most incredibly powerful thing that I can imagine. You know, the amount of infinite things that have had to happen throughout the universe, and then through Earth existing, the little tiny things that made your parents meet. You know, all the billions and billions and billions of little tiny little things that have resulted in me existing. I think that makes me far more special than being made by some god. I don't need a god in my life.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I understand that, and you're right. Like, the odds of life happening are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there should be nothing, basically.
I mean, there's so many things that could have happened in history for life to not be a thing. You know, what if there wasn't the right proteins when life first started on Earth? You know, what if that reaction that caused the first cells to you know, to change in the way they did? What if that never happened? You know, there's so many billions of tiny little things that could have stopped any life even existing on this planet at all. And then all of the life that there has been, for us to come out on top and to have consciousness, and you know, that to be a product of billions of years of tiny little things happening, that makes me feel special. That gives me like a sense of purpose. You know, I need to make, wow, all those things have happened for me to be a thing. I need to make that worthwhile. That, to me, that is infinitely more powerful than a god creating us out of dirt or whatever. Infinitely more powerful.
What do you think? What do you think happens when you die?
Our energy is released. I don't think there's an afterlife. But again, there's no way to prove that if there is or not. Our body has energy. That energy has to go somewhere. I think it's returned to the universe in ways. I've said to my wife that when I die, I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes to be sent up in a weather balloon and released in the edge of space. I want to return to the universe. And I think if I was to give an honest answer to what happens after you die, our energy returns to the universe. That's what I think happens.
Right. Okay. So really, that's it. It's just like you. Well, who knows? But it could be anything. But that's kind of what you're saying in a way. Is that's like you don't have any idea specifically, and that's what you get. Yeah, that's what you're planning on doing.
Personally, I don't think we go to heaven or anything, and there's any consciousness after or anything. But again, knowing that what I am would return to the universe and become something else, I think that's a nicer thought than, you know, going to heaven and living eternally. I mean, and this is where I stand in religion, right? I don't say that there isn't a God, because I can't say that, right? But I do not see the need for a God, either physically or philosophically, right? I see beauty in the universe, in the fact that we exist because of all the things that have happened. And I have solace knowing that when I'm gone, my energy will return to the universe. That gives me peace. I don't need God in my life.
Right. Okay. Well, like, for me, I kind of do need God in my life, because it's clearly just the way that I've been built. I don't come from a religious family or anything. I was born abroad and moved every 4 years of my life. Whatever that effect had on me as a person, maybe I didn't have any roots anywhere. It made me feel kind of like not attached to any one particular culture. So I don't know, I was inquisitive. As soon as I started smoking weed at the age of 16, I hope you don't mind me saying that on your channel.
No, it's well known that I smoke copious amounts of cannabis to deal with chronic pain. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, mate, big up. Sound, man. My impressions of you have gone esteemably higher.
Well, not a lot of people know why. I was on many painkillers for years and years, and none of them worked. And my wife was one day like, you know what, just try smoking some weed, and I did. And it is honestly the only thing that I think is a successful painkiller. I've been on opioids and you know, pregabalin and fucking tramadol and so many different painkillers, and none of them touched pain in the way that cannabis helps me deal with it. And I know it's still illegal in the UK, but I wish it wasn't, because it is an amazing medicine.
I mean, the thing's just blowing up, man. Like, it's the future. It's like, it's such an interesting concept of like when this country is going to like take its head out of the sand and be like, okay, let's confront this. Because America, who is supposed to be like our, you know, our fucking big brother or whatever, they're doing pretty well. Although it is a disgrace what's going on. Like the fucking, the powers that be, you know, the people who own all the fucking money and shit, that they're not allowing them to cash any of their money, are they? Have you heard about that?
No.
Like people growing, I don't know the ins and outs of it, like the finer details of it, but I've heard this story a few times. There's something going on in America at the moment where it's all great, like cannabis is being legalized in all these states, and it's going really well, and certain states like Colorado and other places had such a massive tax take from tax revenue from all the production of cannabis that they actually had a tax surplus for the first time in the history of like Western society. So apparently it's quite significant. They had a surplus in their tax. Are you listening to me? I feel like
I'm listening
to me now.
I am listening.
I thought you'd like this if you're a fan, you know, of cannabis. Basically, these people, they can pay their tax fine, but apparently they can't bank any of their profits. I don't know if anyone in your chat knows anything about it.
I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe
I know that there's, because even though it's kind of legal at the state level, I know it's still illegal federally or whatever in the US. And
they can't they can't bank their profits, apparently.
No,
So,
honestly,
so
I'm not sure. I mean, I know that the legality of it, even when it is technically legal, is iffy in America. But do you know the history of why weed became illegal? Because of prohibition. Basically, when prohibition ended, they needed something to criminalize because they couldn't criminalize alcohol anymore.
It was because of oil as well, you know.
Because of oil?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I'd have to look that up.
Because you can make, in the 1930s, they were talking about the technology of hemp being able to, it was being advanced, and they were starting to produce plastic.
Oh, yeah.
If you
no,
type
you're right.
in...
Yeah, no, because I was watching something where someone actually built an entire car out of purely hemp products.
Henry Ford.
Was that Ford that did that originally? I saw someone do it recently.
Literally. Type in hemp car Henry Ford and just have a watch.
I'll have to look that up. But I mean,
mate, it's
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
I shouldn't talk about it too much on the channel, but honestly, my personal opinion on weed is that as long as your brain has developed already, so you're 21 or whatever, there's no harm in you smoking it, as long as it isn't a detriment to your life. I honestly, if for instance today, cannabis, tobacco, and alcohol were discovered, only one of those three would be legal, and that's weed.
Well, yeah, I suppose, because
there's no way they would legalize. There's no way they'd legalize alcohol or tobacco if they were discovered today. One poisons your liver and the other gives you cancer. Fuck that. Oh, what about this other one? It can help you with pain and, you know, make life a lot more enjoyable. Oh, yeah, sure. But anyway.
and you've actually got receptors that bind to it, which is why you can't OD on it.
Yeah. It's the only thing that our brain is actually ready, set to take in. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's in mother's milk.
yeah. Now, I know that you don't really agree with space and stuff, but do you think if there's life on other planets, that a similar thing would happen? That they'd have a similar drug or something like cannabis? Would there be space weed?
So are you asking me that question?
Yeah, if space is real and there's life out there, is there going to be space weed?
Yeah. Oh man.
Because I'd travel the universe to find some dank weed, like.
Mate, I don't think like if you think about it logically, right? Going with your model, you're basically saying no because the odds well, unless there's some weird connection with our planet and them already. Aha. Then maybe. But if it's kind of aliens that are just passing by from like some other galaxy and they're like, hey, look at that, oh, we'll come over and say hi.
Yeah.
The chances of them having weed is surely in your model pretty low.
Well, I don't know, because let's think why weed is so strong and stuff now, because we've cultivated it and bred it to be as strong
Like a
and
cup of tea,
stuff
I
as
can
it is now. So it makes sense that if there was aliens and they had herbs and stuff growing on our planet, there would be things that interacted with their brain chemistry. And I reckon if there's aliens, there's going to be space weed. That's what I'm saying.
But did you just say they were on our planet?
No, on their own planet, right? If they've developed on their own planet, then just like us, they're going to have plants and herbs and stuff that are medicines or whatever. And it would be, I think, logical to expect that they would have a brain chemistry that could be altered in the way that ours could.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing, like surely with evolution and like aliens, like the actually maybe not. I suppose according to your model, if the laws of physics and stuff did what it's done here, then it could do exactly the same somewhere else. But then you're talking about the process of evolution happening within that, say, similar Earth-like place.
Well, that's the thing, James, because if evolution works the way that we say it does, then it makes sense that evolution would happen on other places with
Elsewhere.
life.
Well, yeah, I get that. Yeah. Which is why, I mean, ultimately, the reason why certain Christians bang on about flat Earth, right? And it is basically, if it was what I believe, basically, really, is that I believe aliens are going to like arrive here, right, at some point, in the next, I don't know. You're.
Oh, is he gone?
What's going on?
No, you disconnected for a second. You're back.
Oh, really? Okay. I genuinely think, Craig, that there's going to be like this I mean, I don't know where you stand on this. What do you think the chances are there'll be a fucking alien invasion? I mean, we've just had 2020, end of the day.
Well,
right?
let's look at 2020. There's been murder hornets. There's been coronavirus. Australia was on fire for a while. There's been the wildfires in America. I mean, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be a meteorite. There's going to be some kind of massive volcano or aliens. I mean, I think aliens at the moment are at the edge of our solar system going, fuck guys, we're up next, I'm nervous.
They're waiting in the wings.
Yeah. Either that or there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. One of the two.
Well, I think it may combine the two. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but are you saying that there would be a fake alien invasion?
Well, no, I think fake is well, it's fake in that really alien in many ways is the if what I believe is true, if my model is true, right? like a very simple model, right? Okay, of a flat Earth with a dome.
Right, okay.
Like, I know we haven't worked it out like to the, you know, to the nth degree, but the general concept, all right? I'm not saying I understand, but for the sake of discussion, it's the snow globe, all right?
Uh-huh.
So, based on that model, okay, these aliens are not from another planet, right? They are the Nephilim, which you've probably heard of.
Right, yeah.
Right? And they are the giants, like places like Baalbek, you know Baalbek?
Right. So you're saying basically if a massive alien spaceship turned out, it would actually not be aliens, it would be some biblical thing happening.
No. I'm saying that basically that it would look like a 21st century version of it. You know, it wouldn't look like whatever it might have looked back fucking in the Iraqi times, way back when they had the Anunnaki who ruled and they came from another fucking planet, right? Do you know about Sumerians?
What I learned from Stargate, basically.
Right. There's there's actually a really interesting podcast at the moment, The Fall of Civilizations. It talks about the Sumerians, and they are the oldest form of they are the oldest recorded in history that we've got.
Right.
And their gods were called the Anunnaki. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
And Anunnaki means from heaven to earth came.
Right. So it wouldn't be actual aliens. It's something else. And do you think that this could actually happen?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. No one else here.
Do I think what could happen?
Do you think that some kind of alien invasion, be it angels or Nephilim or what, do you think that that's likely?
Well, I wouldn't say the word is likely. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to happen tomorrow, but I reckon it's going to happen at one day.
That's right. So let's say you wake up one morning, you look outside, and there's a fucking massive spaceship hanging over, and you get abducted, and you're taken up to space, and you see the Earth as a globe. What'd you do then?
I'll be like, fucking hell, how the fuck did I not realise I was moving so quickly on a fucking spinning... I'm done. I'll be like, guys, seriously, I will fucking cook you breakfast for the next, I don't know, year? Like, I'll genuinely eat my own fucking, shorts. Like it genuinely, I will admit defeat. I don't have an agenda. You know, like it doesn't make any difference really to me. I mean, the world is still the fucking world. Like, it makes no difference.
Okay,
like,
all right. So, all right, let me ask you this question then. What could I do to convince you that the Earth isn't flat?
Well, really, you'd have to take me up, like, really high to be able to see it. And I know what some smart dick's gonna say, smart ass gonna say in the comments. We'll send you up in a rocket and leave you to fly out into space. Yeah, that would be funny.
Right. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me get a picture for you that someone sent me recently. Here we go. This one. Did you see the David Blaine thing on TV recently? The Ascension.
Yeah, he only went to like 30,000 feet or something, didn't he? 20,000 feet.
Even at 30,000 feet, clearly curvature.
No way, man.
Yeah.
No, that's the camera, dude.
No, you can see that it's not a fisheye. And he actually explained what types of cameras it was. And it's not fisheye. But there's clearly a curve to the horizon.
Nah, bro. I haven't seen the whole thing. I haven't watched it. I have to watch it.
This is a screenshot from 2 hours, 23 minutes in. And
Fair.
quite clearly curvature there.
because a lot of these pieces of footage of cameras like going up, you know, thousands of feet, like the horizon, obviously the way that the light interacts with the lens at that point, the horizon, it flips up and down. Do you know what I mean? Like like when the camera points up, it curves down like that. And when the camera points down, it flips up. Do you know
This
what I mean?
one
You must
didn't.
have
Though.
seen
You
it.
can see that the camera that this is of shows that it stays convex even when it's passing the center point. And I've got even better
Well,
footage to show
well,
that. Oh,
yeah, I
where's it
don't know.
gone?
That's what it was.
Ah, here we go. Right. So have you heard of the dog cam?
Yeah, man.
Right. So the dog cam had two cameras on, right? It had one with fisheye and it had one without fisheye. And this video shows the difference between them. This is currently right now the one without fisheye. But then it shows you... This is the one with fisheye, and you can see that the horizon's going convex and concave.
Now it's exactly. Look, it's
Yeah,
gone going.
that is the fisheye one, right? But then this is the one without the fisheye, and as you can see with the compressed one on the side, even when it's passing the center point, it never stops being convex. So there is two cameras on there. One of them has fisheye and one doesn't. And the one that doesn't have fisheye shows that when it goes above and below the center point, that it stays convex.
Have you seen the Little Miss Piggy cam or Little Piggy cam? Flat Earth. That's better quality. Or
I mean,
Flat Earth Piggy.
Better quality than this. All right, let me.
It is, man.
Sec.
It's way better. I think it's.
Let me
So
just do
that's
something
the
live for you. Color correction. I want to bring the saturation up. Saturation. Okay, so if I turn the saturation up on it, there we go. Much clearer now, the horizon.
Okay, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. If you take that line away, I'm not sure if I'll be seeing it.
But it's on the right. You can see that's the compressed version of it. That's just taking the same image and compressing it left to right, and it
I can't
shows
see it.
there's a curve there.
I can't see it. It's not working. I've got just like a distorted image on the right.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, I can send you the video to look at that yourself. But
Look up.
there's someone in the community called Mr. Sensible, who he's got a project called Mage, where he's sending up his own weather balloon and stuff. He did it recently, but unfortunately there was a slight hole in the balloon and it didn't get the height needed. And then there was issues with the camera, but he's trying it again. Well, the weather balloon, I think it would get up to like 130,000 feet if it actually works. But I think the one that he sent up, it didn't actually get that high because there was a very small hole in the balloon that wasn't noticeable before it went up. But he's doing it again, and hopefully it will show. And he's sending it up with a camera that has fisheye and a camera that doesn't have fisheye, so that we can compare them. I'm going to keep an eye on that.
Because hang on, I'm gonna. So there's one which gives you I'll send you a link and then you can put it up. So this is, I haven't seen this, but this compares the horizon with. Have you seen the video of the Red Bull jump?
Yeah.
And you see how flat the horizon is in the distance.
Yeah, it's not though. When you actually look at the to the sides in the picture, through the portholes. Let me just get that up. 2 secs. Yeah, when you actually look at the Red Bull jump from inside and you compare the horizon to what you can see out the main door to what you can see out the portholes, it actually is curved from that perspective. Let me just get that right. Anywhere you want me to go in particular in this video?
You talking to me?
Yeah, the video you just sent me.
No, that's like that's just the video with a clip of it. But I'm sure you must have seen it already.
This one. Yeah, that's fisheye, isn't it?
No.
I mean, the
See, and then there's
the
that.
aerial is a bent, but
Well, yeah, but then there's another version of it where the aerial's dead straight. What do you mean it's bent?
it doesn't look like it's straight to me. But I mean,
Well,
like I said,
I'm
I've just
surprised
shown
you
you
haven't seen
the two videos, one with fisheye and one without. Uh, Tommy Gronville says the camera inside the capsule is better than the camera in the open air. Yeah, the I don't get why flat earthers use the Felix jump, because it really kind of destroys the flat Earth. PhD Tony's just sent me a video. Are you still there?
yeah, like they seem to be not around on YouTube. I'm trying to search for his other videos. I've just sent you another one, which is just a clip, but they're just they're not on here. Like there used
Oh,
to be loads of them.
the truth's being hidden.
Well, I don't know what to say. Like it has changed, honestly. Like I got into flat Earth in 2016. I just sent you another one, Craig.
Yeah, I'll get that in one sec. Tony sent me this. I'm not sure why. Does it?
But it is true, man. Like the way flat Earth videos appear on YouTube is completely like it's really hard to find good quality. I don't know what's happened to a lot of them.
Because there's no one putting out like good quality flat Earth content anymore. That's the problem.
Well, I don't know where even Mark Sargent's stuff is. It still up? His old stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the video you
I don't
sent
know.
me, it's
Maybe
like
it's...
turning up at the edges.
Yeah, but that's just that's the lens, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
always going to be some sort of...
That's the point, and that's why I showed the one without the distortion that shows the
Can you
Earth
can you show
curved.
that?
Yeah, I'm
Can
just
you
getting
show
that
the
up.
one I've
Two
just sent you?
secs. Where's there we go. Paste. Come on.
How many people are watching, by the way?
It's about 550.
550 people are watching.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Hello, 550 people.
Right. Oh, goodness me. Keeps trying to get me to sign in to YouTube, but it won't let me on the
You can see I've got nothing on my weekly planner.
Yeah, so this is what you just sent me, and you can see at the edges, it's curving up. Right?
Yeah, there's basically, if
So
you
then
go
there's
and
points
find
where
the original,
this is curving
if you
down.
go and find, well, no, because the lens, the horizon is being slightly distorted by the lens, which is just inevitable. I'm not an expert on lenses, but I don't think you could not have some distortion from made by the lens.
Well, there is
It's not a
lenses
fisheye
that
lens.
don't have distortion, but this shows,
Yeah.
according to this, the Earth is actually concave. Sorry.
No, if there was a ball underneath here, you would see a lot more of a bias for it to be convex.
But yeah,
If we're
that's
talking, I
not
don't know
with
what-
not with a camera that's got a distortion like this. You're not going to know.
Huh?
With a camera that's clearly
But it's not
distorted, you're
distortion.
not going to see it. But that's why I showed you on mine without
No,
the
but
distortion.
you would, because if you watch the full length footage, right, the camera does, especially towards the beginning and the end, as it's balancing, the camera tilts down and up, right, and you see this distortion as the camera tilts down, the horizon flips up, and as the camera tilts up, the horizon flips down slightly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
but I showed you something where that doesn't happen.
but then eventually it settles and it gives a more or less fucking flat line, but which occasionally is curved a little bit in one direction or the other, right? Now, what I'm saying is that if it was a globe underneath, each time the camera tilted down and up in kind of equidistant, really, right? You wouldn't get the same distortion going convex, concave, right? You wouldn't get the same distortion going like that. You would have a more biased effect.
I don't understand why you're saying you would have a more bias effect if the lens is clearly curved. If there's a fisheye lens, like there clearly is, used on
Quality.
this, and also this has got set to a super wide field of view.
Right.
It's at least a wide angle lens with some kind of fisheye distortion. I mean, at the edges, it's totally curving up. But that's why I showed you the video without the distortion that shows it going over the center line and it stays convex.
Sorry, just show. I didn't want this to go on forever and ever, but show me what you just showed me again. And explain what you think it says.
Where'd that bloody video go? Sorry, one sec. There it is. Right. So, on this one, which is the one that isn't fisheye.
Craig, I still can't see this image on the right. I'd really like to. I'm intrigued now. I'd like to see actually what it is you tried to show.
Seeing that? Let me just. All right, I turn up the. Can you see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you look at the live stream, you'll be able to see it. Because what it's got is on the right, it's got the same image but compressed left to right. And this camera goes over the center point several times. Where is it? Does it back here? And every time it goes over the center point, it's. Let me actually slow that down.
The upfront cost of solar panels has 30%.
Playback speed 0.25. Yeah. So you can see it going over the center point, and it stays convex. It doesn't stop being that curve down, no matter how many times it goes above or below the center point. Which shows that it's not a fisheye.
Dude, your thing is not working on the live feed. I don't know why your viewers aren't telling you.
No, it is. I'm watching the live feed now. It's showing.
But it's all cramped up on the right.
Yeah, that's the point. On the right, that is the image compressed from left to right.
Okay, so that's a compressed image of the left-hand side image.
Yeah.
And you're saying that what? That's enhancing what's already there, basically.
Yeah.
So you're seeing more of a curve. Yeah. But that's just because at that particular moment.
Like I showed you, no matter which way, it's still convex.
The angle of the camera is pointing so slightly downwards. Sorry, slightly upwards.
Yeah, but it goes up and down. That's the point. That's what I was showing. It goes above and below the center point.
Yeah, and so there we go. When it goes downwards, it goes convex.
No, you can
right,
see it. You can see on the right that the thing stays convex, not concave. That's what the one on the right is showing, and it's showing it staying convex and not concave. If I can show you the done live.
Well, yeah, but it's still not. Do that with the Miss Piggy cam.
Right, now let me take one sec. All right, I'm going to take the Miss Piggy cam, that one, and I'm going to put it in Paint. Let me get up the screen so you can see what I'm doing. Where is it? Oh god, I've lost my desktop catcher. Sorry, give me one sec.
No worries.
Where is it? Right. So let's put paint on there. Right. So we're gonna crop this image of the Miss Piggy one. And then compress it left to right. And look, if you compress that image left to right, it's convex. Yeah. It's gone the other way. Oops.
Right, exactly, because that's what the bias is in that particular angle.
Yeah, which shows that it's not a proper lens.
It is a proper lens. The other lens is not so much of that angle. That's all that's going on. That's a different lens. Obviously, the lens as it points up on the other one doesn't deviate so much as it does when it. Sorry,
it doesn't deviate at all on the other one.
Right, yeah, so well, let me the lens.
Right, I'm going to copy that one.
That just looks flat as fuck, man. Sorry for swearing, but just, guys, come on, it's flat!
And then, alright, let's bring up this one, and I'll do it here so you can see. So, if I take this and compress that left to right, you can see there's the curve.
But that's because the angle, as I said,
no, it's not to do. It's not to do with the angle. It's to do with the fact that it's seeing the curve, and it showed that this isn't a fisheye lens by going above and below the center point several times. And look.
Well, no, it's obviously showing it's different. I don't know what height that's at. What 33 kilometers in feet, or whatever. What kind of lens it is, but there's obviously a different distortion going on with the light, but it's clear for me to see on either case that it's a flat surface, that it's not.
Except that it's clearly not a flat surface because it shows that there's a curve.
No.
And like the other image I showed you from the David Blaine thing, even at 30,000 feet, whatever it was, quite clearly a curve there.
No, there isn't.
Now let's.
I don't. Again, that's just to do with the angle of the camera.
Because I can put this into paint for you, so we can see.
But I'm sure I can get you a camera at that height and angle it and give you a convex horizon.
No, changing the angle of a camera doesn't do that. We've proven that with Tommy Gromfield.
We just seen that it's done it with the little piggy cam.
Well, no, but the little piggy cam is a fisheye lens. That's what you're not understanding here.
No, it's not a fisheye lens.
It is.
No, it isn't. A fisheye lens would be a lot more distorted. None of these are fisheye lenses. They're just normal lenses.
It really was. That's the entire point. Right.
You always get some distortion, no matter what the lens is.
Yeah, clearly curve on there.
Do you not always get some distortion, no matter what the lens is?
There are lenses that are designed to not have distortion.
Yeah, but you always get at that altitude with the light. I think you're always going to get a tiny bit.
No,
I'm not an expert.
There's no reason why you should get anything.
Well, every single footage we have seen so far, I haven't seen the whole of this David Blaine footage to see how it looks as it's going up, or if it shows you, if it's edited or whatever. Every single other piece of footage we've seen so far, and anyone has ever seen, as it's going up, the horizon flips, both concave and convex. Other than the ones that are clearly fisheye, which have the whole fucking horizon curve.
The one I just showed you that doesn't do that.
50 feet, which are clearly not showing the curved earth, it's a fisheye. Like, for example, the camera that they attached to the balloon that sent up the pie. You know, the school children apparently just innocently, randomly, when Flat Earth was taking off, like just thought of sending a pie up into space with a fisheye lens on it. Craig?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm showing you that this isn't fisheye. It stays concave, convex, as it goes above and below the center point. And have you seen the garlic bread that was sent to space?
Yeah, that's a similar kind of thing, isn't it? I mean, I saw the pie in Devon, the pie. The garlic bread, I think I saw as well. That's a fisheye lens.
Right, now,
As far as
we can prove that the garlic one isn't a fisheye lens. That's very easy to do. Because it's on a box that's got a straight edge. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Tom Scott, he's one of my favourite YouTubers. And he sent the garlic bread to space. And the great thing about it is that... Go away with the adverts. We have to watch this advert, it's unskippable. Right, so with the garlic bread to space, the great thing about the video, James, is that it's got a big box that it's in. You see this big white polystyrene box? Right? That shows you that there's no distortion to the lens. You can see it the whole way, that it's completely straight. Alright? But, this is where I got it time-stamped. Curve. Alright?
But that's the but the horizon is above the what is it, the bread, right?
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
If it's also in the distance, there's a different thing going on with the light.
Well, no, okay,
So
you're ignoring the clear curve.
Just let it play. Let it play.
It stays, you know, it's gone above and below. Yeah, that's when it pops, right? This is the best bit when it pops. Let me go back a little bit. Right, I'll put that in slow motion. So this is just when it pops.
You see how it flips?
Watch the horizon. Watch the horizon. Play.
Yeah.
Here we go. So 35.8 kilometers.
Right, which how many feet is that?
Oh God, I don't know.
You know?
Look, even as it's flipping, it's still saying convex, sorry. And it comes back round underneath on the other side, and you can still see it being convex.
Well, no, it's out of shot.
Yeah, it comes back round on the other side in a sec. Every time it goes, it's still got the convex on it, every time.
Hang on. You see how much that bent? See how much that bent? You see, there we go, stop. It's bent the other way. Both ways it's bent there.
I didn't see it
bent
the
the
other way.
There we go. One way and then back.
Where is it bent the other way? I don't see it. What you're talking about.
Just play it back over that section, wherever it was. Bend both ways. It's not reference to anyone's sexuality on this show or otherwise.
Right, okay, so when it's turning, what you're seeing is a rolling shutter effect. Right, as you can see, it's upside down at the moment, right? And it's still there.
Yeah.
Now, as it's rotating, hold on. As it's rotating, do you know how shutters work on cameras?
Not exactly, really.
Right.
I mean, beyond basic.
So basically, it does like lines of image, right, from the left to the right of the lens, right. So every frame it will do from the top to the bottom, left to right. Okay. Now, if you are rotating whilst that rolling shutter is happening, what you can get is an effect that makes it look like it's bending. I can demonstrate that with rolling shutter, helicopter blades.
No, man, that's just a slight curve created by the lens,
No,
looking
no,
at a
no, no. What you're
flat
seeing is a rolling shutter effect.
Earth.
Because of, as something is moving, you can get a slight distortion. I wanted to bring it up to show you. Because of the way a camera captures an image, it's basically like frame tearing. But whenever it's still, you can see that it's concave. It's convex. Sorry. Right. So if we look at this, this shows what a rolling shutter is. After the fucking advert. Oh, come on. 2 adverts? Come on. No, I was showing you it there with... all right, here we go. So yeah, this is what a rolling shutter does. Because of the way it scans from top to bottom, basically something has moved whilst the frame is being taken. Which means that once the entire image is there, you've got a distorted view. Because the shutter is not as quick as the thing that's moving. So when you have something that's rotating really quickly, you can get this, what's called the rolling shutter effect. Right? Which can make something look curved in weird ways. But that's the only time when this is rotating, you get that. No, it was a little bit there. Let me go back, see if I can get it on it. As it rotates to the right, it's turning quite fast. So it's quicker than the camera can take the frame, and it moves. So it's hard to get it in.
I don't know, man. I like shutters, shutting or not. Like I just watched the whole video, and it's clearly a mild distortion of a flat
Okay,
plane.
so that's you get the rolling stutter. The rolling shutter, but then when it's above or below and it's a still frame, when it's not moving, it shows you that it's still a convex rather than concave. The only distortion you get is the rolling shutter effect when it's moving.
Uh-huh.
But when it's still, when it's above or below the center point, you still get a curve, no matter what.
Well,
But
well,
that's
I
the
don't
thing,
know,
right? With camera lenses and stuff, there's a whole bunch of distortions and stuff that you can get, right? But it doesn't.
man.
That's why I like to
Great.
use empirical measurements rather than things like that.
Mate, I've got to go.
Okay,
Um,
no worries.
but it's
Now,
been,
James, this has been a much better conversation than we had last time, all right? And I think we can continue this.
likewise.
Now, I think I want to get you on and talk to PhD that comes on a lot, because he can present arguments in different ways than I can that maybe will help you understand. And the next time you're on, I will at least have the digital model of the reference with the plane moving for you to have a look at, all right?
Okay, cool.
All right. But
Done.
I want to say thank you for coming on, and thank you for not over talking me and having a decent conversation. That was much more pleasant than the previous time.
Likewise. I mean, maybe it has something to do with the fact that your American friend, he looked like he just wanted to kind of amuse people. You know what I mean? Which, if that's your bag, that's your bag, man. Like, that's clearly what happened.
It's entertainment, isn't it?
Well, there we go. So whatever people want.
All right. Well, do you want to say goodbye to everyone watching?
Yeah, not nice to meet you and not meet you actually personally. Have an audience is fun. So I hope you guys are well, and maybe I'll actually have a little YouTube channel one day and actually have a mic and stuff.
Well, I think that we can have more conversations and I can help you understand some things. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on today and having a decent conversation. Okay.
Cool, nice one.
All right.
All right, mate. Well, get me on again. Let's talk about evolution.
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
That's Yeah.
All right, I'll speak to
Cool.
you later.
All right, mate.
All right,
Take it easy.
bye.
Bye.
Right. Now, that was not what I expected to happen with James tonight. So, it was nice, I guess. Now, I see PhD Tony is trying to get me to play a video. He sent me a video on Discord, but he says that I played the wrong one. But, Tony, no, the one you sent me is 1965 Gemini 4 NASA. But when I go to the one that you're sending me, let me show you, because I'm not making this shit up. God, I keep losing my desktop catcher. Right. Look, Tony, when I go to the one that you've sent me, it says, oops, something went wrong. That's what happens. So, I don't know why the link that you're sending me sends me to a oops, something went wrong page. I have no idea. I'll tell you what we're going to do, guys. We are going to read the rest of the super chats and then get out of here for tonight. That was an interesting conversation. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Yeah, Tony, the one on Discord is the 1965 Gemini video that I showed earlier. So I don't understand. It's weird. I think my internet's being strange. But anyway, I want to say thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been an interesting night. I really do appreciate you all hanging around for me. My channel at the moment has been getting a lot of new subscribers and stuff, and I want to say welcome to the new people to the channel. I hope you can come and watch a lot more of my live streams. And I hope you enjoyed the recent video I did of the Super Mario Brothers being flat earthers. I was going to add someone else into that as well. We were going to talk about the plain truth. He could be Wario. Right, super chats. Well, Oscar Guerrera says for $5, I think his laptop is a flat earther. Yeah, technical problems, always good from flat earthers. The Snark for €2 says he came on and still had to stuff his pie hole. I know. Why can't they eat before they come on? Gargamel Gold for $2 says, keep up the good work, FTFE. Thank you very much. Peter's Prime for $2 says, if FTFE is exposed as a PO, I'd unsub immediately. Yeah, good job NASA don't let the secret get out, huh? God's Auditor for $2 says, tell Jerry to play Kerbal Space Program. Actually, you know what? If flat earthers played Kerbal Space Program, they'd understand orbital mechanics. Brainy was showing me his amazing new creation the other day. Gargamel Gold for $2 says, hang in there, FTFE, I'm also having to isolate. Yeah, it's been a bit of a pain at the moment. We can't leave the house. The kids are back off of school, you know, and I'm worried that my boy's just started senior school, just started high school, and he's missed like 50% of it so far because of having to go back into isolation and stuff. And I hope that it gets sorted, because I don't want him to fall behind. He's a very smart boy. But yeah, we are stuck in isolation in the house at the moment because we have to wait for the results from the coronavirus test. I think it says, I thought it was 48 hours, but my wife says I was wrong, and she says it's like 4 to 5 days it can take to get back. I'm convinced that there's nothing wrong in the house. Don't worry, I don't think I've got coronavirus. I don't think my daughter's got coronavirus or anything. I'm pretty sure it was just a nasty cold she got from going back to school and interacting with other kids. But in the current climate we are in, we have to do the responsible thing and get a test just to double check, which means until the results are in, isolation. Martin C for $5 says, ice cream money for the little plate carrier. Keep safe. Thank you very much. I will buy them an ice cream. The Snark for €5 says, nonsense. Baldy Cats debunked that. Baldy Cats debunked everything. The Snark for €2 says, read an effing book, James. Not going to happen. Spike Smith for $5 says, guest is admitting he hasn't used his brain since finishing school. Is there any field which he considered himself to have any expertise? No. Peter's Prime for $5 says, so James, who is your authority on what you believe about flat Earth? I think he just says it's a conclusion he came to. General E. Shady for $2 says, Flat Earth is a denial of fact via distrust by idiots. 100% agree with that. Huge Arse for $5 says, James is basically arguing that the ignorant should be respected for the ignorance. Yeah, he is. And Huge Arse, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Martin C for $5 says, remember, phone sanitizers and hairdressers go on the first ship. And more ice cream money for the girl. Yes, the fleet of the idiot people. Better Charge for $5 New Zealand says, you know the rock you're standing on started out as nothing but stardust. Over a long time came together to make the Earth. We are all stardust. Every one of us, every bit of everything around you is all stardust. And that's fucking amazing. Better Charge for $5 New Zealand says, your God can fuck right off. If he is real, there's a large line of people ready to destroy him. Yeah, like I said, if God's real and he wants to come and prove it to me, cool. We're fighting after that. Chloe Wright for £2 says, please stop him interrupting. Flat Earthers can't help themselves. And then Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says, thanks. That's Goku you're thinking of, FTFE. Sorry. General E. Shady for $2 says, enlightened Sky Wizard wants us to kiss his feet. No. If God is real again, that's not someone I'm ever going to worship. Small Time Art for $2 says, I really need to buy some weed from James. I want what he's fucking smoking. Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says, how do aliens get through the dome? Magic. Dan Robinson for £6.66 Hail Sagan says, let's do a UK Flat Earth versus Globe experiment meetup. Bet the Flerfs bitch out though. Yeah, no, I did just tell him that I'm in isolation because of possible coronavirus, and he then suggested meeting up. James Crow for $5. I have bed bugs. Just saying. Change your sheets. J.L. Warren for $1.99 says, wave propagation done. Hashtag thanks PhD Tony. Hashtag FB Bota. Oh, excuse me. Hashtag FB Ota. Demo Glow for $2 says, what app or TV brand is doing your splash effect? That is a Philips Ambilight TV. It's got the cool LED around it. I can actually link the rest of the lights in the front room to it as well. But I like them to flash with super chats and stuff. And I'm just playing a YouTube video through a link from my phone. And it looks cool, huh? Then we've got Demo Glow for $2 says, or what LEDs rather, Philips Hue. Yes, all the lights that you see are Philips Hue. And then a Philips TV. The stuff's not cheap. Diabetic War Slug for $10, last one, says this was a roller coaster of topics, but still great. Yeah, this was definitely an interesting one, and I'm glad that you guys have hung around. And I do want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting my channel the way you guys do. I could not keep doing what I do without your support. The members, the patrons, the super chats, it allows me to keep doing what I love to do. And I know not everyone can, support me financially. And if you want to help support the channel and you're not able to financially, the best way, the absolute best way that you can help my channel is to share it on Facebook and Twitter and stuff all the time. I get about 60% of my non-YouTube clicks from people watching on Facebook. So, yeah, thank you. And then PhD Tony for $5 Australian says, ha, got you? Did he troll me with a link, maybe? I didn't. I'm dumb now. Thank you, PhD Tony, for that. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you've all had a good evening. And I will see you soon with another video. Brainy Beaver is going to be helping me out with another collaboration. I'm sure Team, once he gets his internet sorted, will have some streams this week as well. Thank you for joining. I love you all. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.